Thank you. So my name is Russ Lodi. I'm Director of Public Affairs at the Massachusetts Housing Partnership. And first, I wanted to thank all of you, local officials, volunteers, planners, Housing Authority personnel, for your public service, and also for taking time out of your busy schedule to come here for the last couple of days and learn about affordable housing. It's just as instructive for us to see all of you and talk with all of you and understand what you're going through. So we really appreciate your service and also your attention the last 2 days. As you know, this is the 10th anniversary of the Housing Institute. And about 5 years in, Susan Conley's team thought, you know, there's a lot of good stuff going on out there. We should figure out a way to recognize that. And thus the Housing Hero concept was born. We've been giving out these awards for 5 years. This year we're giving out 4 awards, 2 individuals and 2 communities. So tell you a little bit about our award winners for this year is MHP's Executive Director, Clark Ziegler.
Thanks, Russ. This is one of the most fun parts of the Housing Institute, at least for us. When I talk to folks about local government in Massachusetts and how occasionally parochial we are, I've sometimes used the term hyperlocal to describe how we do things here. For those of you who talk to people in other parts of the country, you know how true that is. But what that means is that local leadership is critical. Very few big or important things happen around housing in Massachusetts without local leadership. And this is an opportunity for us at MHP to recognize some of the best of you out there in terms of local leadership. Our first Housing Hero Award this year goes to the Town of Needham. Like death and taxes, there are 2 things we're certain about when it comes to understanding Massachusetts. 1, we're a home rule state, and 2, town meeting voters are wicked smart. Given these realities, communities that want to increase their housing supply need to make a solid case. This spring, the Town of Needham did just that. And some of you heard about this at our session yesterday. What Needham did was convince town meeting to approve a zoning change that would allow up to 250 apartments to be built in a red-hot Route 128 commercial zone known as Needham Crossing. The town took this step even though its supply of affordable housing had gone over 10% the year before. Voters didn't have to do this. They had already achieved safe harbor from Chapter 40B. How did the town do it? By making the case that planning for multifamily housing is the best way to ensure future economic development. The town had already seen this happen in an adjacent commercial area where a zoning change led to the 350-unit Charles River Landing, which was followed by TripAdvisor building its national headquarters, which was followed by the approval of a mixed-use project that will put 390 apartments within a stone's throw of TripAdvisor. To make the case for new housing and future economic success, Needham officials met with businesses, landowners, and residents. It then used an MHP grant for a consultant to review the potential fiscal impacts and modify the zoning proposal accordingly. The consultant estimated that 250 apartments would produce a net financial benefit to the town of $350,000 per year, and that by requiring that 12% of the units be affordable, Needham's supply of affordable housing would remain over 10%. This final forward-looking zoning change was endorsed by the town's Council of Economic Advisors, the Planning Board, and sent on to town meeting by the Board of Selectmen. At town meeting, Economic Development Director Devra Bailin explained in detail how 250 units would be a positive for the town and concluded her presentation by saying, providing sufficient multifamily housing for workers or seniors downsizing is necessary for the continuing development of our economic engine at Needham Crossing. Town meeting has been supportive of the flexible zoning needed to incent businesses to locate here. This is the next step. Needham took that next step. That's why they're housing heroes. Accepting the award for the Town of Needham is Devra Bailin, the town's Economic Development Director. Congratulations. Hold it carefully.
I've been instructed that I have to say a few words. Since you heard me yesterday, I'll try to keep it short. If you've learned anything from the Needham story, it is that housing, especially multifamily housing in traditional suburban communities, is imperative to retaining businesses and encouraging economic growth and development. To sell politically multifamily housing, you can't wave the housing flag. You have to wave the economic development flag, and you have to be able to prove your case. To create true and sustainable economic growth, you must create an active, vibrant neighborhood, complete with amenities and housing. The former, retail, restaurants, and consumer services, will not come without the latter. Housing turns a 9-to-5 office park in a tired suburban environment into a vibrant community. The day of sleepy, isolated suburban office parks is over. Businesses are looking for the complete package. People and businesses will gravitate to areas which offer the urban suburban environment. Needham Crossing, which is part of our collaborative effort with Newton as part of the N-Squared Innovation Corridor, is on its way. We have in that corridor over 150 high-tech and life sciences businesses, including PTC, TripAdvisor, CyberArk, and Vertex, and we are growing businesses. But without the offer of housing amenities, this will not be sustainable. Sustainable growth in the suburbs can change the fiscal impacts to the communities in which they are developed. Needham has already seen a 5.8% increase in revenues, and that doesn't reflect the significant TIF in the increment financing that has been given to TripAdvisor, which is front-end loaded for the first 5 years. Housing brings with it economic benefits in and of itself, but it's its collateral benefits that sell it economically. So thank you for this award, and thank you for the funding to get where we got.